Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Ben Barber. I am your host, and I'm going to get right into it because there is not enough time in the day to tell you about how amazing my guest is for today. Ladies and gentlemen, Julia Dennison. Julia, how are you?
Ben, you are one of my all-time favorite people on this entire planet. So,
Thank
hi,
you.
I'm good.
I don't know if you will still continue to say that later in the week, because I think that you're meeting cooler friends than me, but that's fine
Oh,
because I'm happy for you.
please. Ben, there's nobody cooler than you.
I'm happy for you. It's fine. It's fine. So you are. I don't want to get your title wrong. Can you tell people what you do at Parents?
Yeah, sure. So I am digital content director at Parents Magazine, which means that I oversee all the digital content. I direct the digital content, which means everything on parents.com and social channels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of
Amazing.
like digital editor in chief over here.
Love it. The DEIC. So you are also the host of the wonderful podcast We Are Family. And you can get that anywhere anywhere that podcasts are listened to. And that is in its second season. This year you're solo bolo,
I'm by
and
myself.
and you're killing it. Your first guest in season 2 was LeVar Burton.
Casual, thank you. Yes.
You've also had guests like Tan France, Ben Feldman, just amazing guests. Who have you been really excited to talk to that we've heard so far? And then can you tell me anybody else that's going to be on the show?
Sure. Well, it's funny. Ben Feldman was one of my all-time favorite episodes because he was just made me laugh the entire time and cracked me up. Obviously LeVar Burton is like, entire lifetime goals to talk to him, which was awesome. But Tan Francis episode was really interesting. Him talking about just, him and his husband having a baby through surrogacy and just like the awful comments that he got through Instagram. And he was just very candid and honest and lovely about all that, and also looked fabulous, even though we weren't even recording the video part of the Zoom call that we did for the podcast interview, because of course he's Tan France and from Queer Eye, so naturally. But yeah, coming up, we have Padma Lakshmi, who is wonderful, so that's coming. And Rosario Dawson. That was really cool. And I just got I'm like looking at my phone and I just have a calendar invite right now that it's like We Are Family podcast, David Byrne for We Are Family podcast. Like,
what is your life? That's incredible. I love I love listening to the show. I listen to it on Tuesday mornings when I go for my walk, and I really love it. I would have listened to the first episode and then not any of the other ones just because you're my friend if it was bad, but it's amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet. But I mean, I also have plenty of friends who probably don't actually listen to my podcast.
Well, they're not your friends, Julia. They're not your friends.
That was a dating goal of mine at one point, like date a guy who actually listens to my podcast.
There you go. I feel like that's putting a little bit too much pressure on that guy.
That's true. That's setting the bar very, very high.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about that for myself right now, and I'm like, I don't think that I could date a girl that listened to my stuff, because I'm like, ugh, don't do that. It's not, you have better things to do with your time. But for you, I'm like, no, they absolutely should, because she's amazing and she's talking to these A-list celebrities. And I'm
no, listen, I'm just honored that anyone's listening and that you're listening, and it means so much. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. It's a fantastic show. What is new at Parents? What's going on? So like, obviously it's October when we're recording this of 2021, and kids have been back in school fully with no distance learning in the majority of places for a while. Parents have been incredibly worn out by this pandemic. What's going on at Parents? How are you guys helping do what you can?
I think parents everywhere are still kind of feeling that post-traumatic trauma of like the pandemic and parenting during the pandemic, and sort of like picking up the pieces. For one, you were so sweet to be even watching my YouTube videos from the beginning of the pandemic, where it was just me and Ezzy in my house. And I was saying to you when we were chatting that like I don't remember any of it really. It's like such a weird blur of trauma, I think, for so many parents, because, you know, trying to work full time and watch your kids. And so everyone's super grateful to have their kids back, but, you know, we're not there yet. So, like, you know, the starting and stopping, the opening of schools, then closing the schools because of a case, and then like, you know, trying to make sure you have childcare backup because, you know, you don't always have childcare in place if they're in school, and like just the stress that we're not out of the woods, and that there's just, you know, and everyone's always afraid of that the school's going to shut down again for an amount of time. And it's like nobody can deal with that. So, and then of course the health of our kids, and we're all waiting for, you know, vaccines for kids ages 5 to 11, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's around the corner. But yeah, all that is, I think, on parents' minds. And like, you know, the holiday season feels like it might be a tiny little bit kind of getting inching closer to normal. Halloween is going to be fairly normal, it feels like. So, you know, just
Yeah.
trying to get through day to day over here, and pick up the pieces, I think.
I love you're right. So I started to watch and in some instances rewatch the vlog that you started on the parents YouTube page last year, like in the middle of March 2020. And it's funny because the first one is like exactly what you would expect, right? It's like it starts with like, we're working from home and Ezzy wants pancakes and I have a bunch of slack to do.
I'm like, isn't this
And
cute?
you're like, and we're gonna make pancakes, and Ezzy, don't send people slacks. And then episode two is like, um, okay, she's getting a little stir crazy, but like we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves. And then episode three is like, she's crying because she wants to go outside, and I have to tell her that she's. And then you just looked at the camera and you're like, how do you guys tell your kids about this? Because I don't know. And that sort of, and then there's 25 more episodes of it, and that level of like vulnerability and letting yourself, like you and I talked about it last night, like you were like, yeah, that was hell, like you're just witnessing someone go through hell. But the fact that you would do that, and those are the things that like print can't do, you know, like print can't do justice to something like that. And being in charge of the digital content for this large magazine that's a large platform that really helps people, and that's at the core of what parents is like. It's helping parents. It's there. It's a service that's there to help people, and that's what you did. And you used the medium, you and your team, and I'm sure I doubt that you were editing that,
No.
just because I
I have
watched
a
it and I know you, and I do not think that you edited
very
it.
talented video team who helps edit
But
things. I would just regurgitate these raw video
yeah,
files.
but that's what you guys like. That's what you did, and you know, the head person in charge of the digital aspect of that. Like that's what you guys chose to do during that time, and it was so incredibly helpful. And I was reading some of the comments of parents saying like, I know, I don't know, and this is reassuring to know that you don't know. And um
I think we
and
don't know
that
what
just like that sense of community, you know. And then like when things were figured out little by little, and you started piecing stuff together, like that was. But I think it's a great snapshot of a very dramatic time and how you get through it, and the fact that you documented it was beautiful. It was
Thank
just
you.
it was a beautiful thing to watch. So I was excited to go back and watch some of it.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I feel like I've always done journalism because I want to provide a service, and that's why I've always loved service journalism, as they call it. So like, you know, helping people basically. And that's always been at the kind of core of what I do at Parents, is just helping other parents. But I think so much of helping other parents is like validating people and making them feel less alone, and making them feel seen, and making them feel like they're not the only ones going through things. Because parenting can be very isolating. As um, living with a kid, it's like it can feel like everything you're going through, you're kind of going through in a silo. So I always feel like at the very base of what I do, I want to make sure that I'm helping other parents feel like they're less alone. And then in the pandemic, that was almost more important than anything else, sort of like my duty as an editor is to just kind of put that out there and say, be like, I'm feeding my kid ice cream for breakfast right now and putting a screen in front of her. Like, we are all doing this. And the more we can talk about it and the more honest we can all be, and the more like the less we can hide behind sort of Instagram perfection, I think the better we all help each other out. So that's just how I am. I'm like, let's just be real about things.
Yeah. You said in maybe the second episode of that something that I was telling a lot of people at the beginning, which was it and what you just said about Instagram perfection really reminded me of that. Like the the uh the humanizing quality of the first month of the pandemic to everyone. Like every celebrity that you ever saw now was without their makeup and their hairstylist and their beautiful cameras, and were on a phone in their home, and maybe their home was a multi-million dollar house, but they were still like just on an iPhone and not knowing how to use technology, and like this glamorous life that we thought that people were living. There was like it was an opportunity to be more real, and I think that, like, especially with parenting, everyone so many people, there is such a stigma around everything that a parent does and everything that, like, too much screen time, not giving them the right food, not having them play outside enough, not doing this, not doing that. Um, like, everyone's always posturing and everyone's always scared to be vulnerable in this space. Uh, and and I think that it's so awesome that in everything that you do at parents, you're like, let's cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Like,
Stop
that's
that right
amazing.
now.
Yeah. Sorry I swore, but yeah, like,
No,
that's
yeah. Yeah. Just
you know
stop.
what?
It's
I'm not
like,
sorry I swore. I listened to the Ben
no,
Feldman episode. I'm not
I'm very
sorry I
pro
swore.
swearing in the right context.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
I apologize to Brian Chin.
Who incidentally calls Hell's Kitchen Hex Kitchen, which I think is adorable.
My favorite human being
Yeah.
that I've never met in person at the very least.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, listen, let's cut that shit, Like, let's actually be real. I think that's not just for parents, but for everybody, because I think we all go through really hard times, and we all feel less than perfect, and I think that day that Instagram went down, um, was like, it feels like there needs to be a song written about it, like the day the music died. No, that's morbid. I'm sorry. Day the music died is about very sad. Never mind. Rewind. But anyways, the day Instagram killing me. I'm just gonna keep digging myself into a hole.
I don't think it's I wouldn't. That was in the 50s. I don't think it's too soon. It's
It
good.
feels too soon.
It's not
That
too
felt
soon.
too
No,
soon.
no, it's fine.
Too soon. No, but it just the day Instagram died, felt like the day where I was like, I love Instagram for the connection, and hey, it's like a large part of, and Facebook is a large part of my work, and I'm obviously reliant on those platforms for my job. But there was something kind of nice about taking a break. And I had people being like, well, if you don't want it, like, just delete your account. But I was like, no, you can't just delete your account on social platforms. It's like, I liked the idea that the entire world was off of social media for a day and we could all step away. And I almost felt like, can we just have, like, I don't know, like, weekends off of Instagram collect like a little bit of it, but then when it goes off, can it all go off for everybody together at the same time? So there's no FOMO. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
got
I digress.
I had people like contacting me and asking me questions about like their live streams and stuff for Facebook. And and then I was getting shout outs on LinkedIn as like thank yous for that. And I was getting notifications from LinkedIn, which I don't get a ton of. And I was like, oh, so many people just went to like LinkedIn and TikTok immediately to like
Yeah.
and Twitter and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm not open. I'm just enjoying this. Like, nope, sorry, can't do this right now. Like,
Yep.
it's not a nope. Why
Mhm.
take the break when it's there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, it does feel a little bit like there's the life everyone sees on Instagram, and then there's the life everyone's actually living, and probably the more real interesting conversations are about the lives everyone's actually living, but,
Mhm.
it takes a lot of, like, guts for us all to get out there and talk about that. I don't know. It's nice
Yeah.
having those filters.
What is, um what is something that you're looking forward to, in the next month at your job?
I love working on my podcast, so I'm, like David Byrne, like, hello, talking to him.
Yeah.
Also the D'Amelio sisters or the D'Amelio family, I'm also gonna be talking to, which just fits like that whole, like, the broad breadth of the different people I get to talk to is really cool. I like that a lot. So probably that, continuing to record my podcast episodes, because I just have a ton of fun doing them. And then apart from that, we have some exciting editorial packages coming up. We got one coming up on sports and like what sports are going to look like post pandemic for kids. We're doing a lot around like teens and mental health because, of course, like I think that whole generation really felt it with this pandemic. I can't even imagine trying to be a teenager throughout that. And then like they live their whole lives through social media, but then you get reports saying that, which we covered, saying that like Instagram knows that it's potentially damaging for teen girls, but yet like continues, stuff
Mhm.
like that. So just kind of diving into the important topics, probably is what's most exciting for me. And we have a lot coming up. So tune in.
I feel like there's always a lot coming up. Always a
Yeah,
lot
there
coming up,
is.
in
Yeah,
that.
the juggle is real.
You have a big day coming up. Again, we're recording this on Tuesday, um, and, so I don't know when this will air or whatever, but on Thursday of this week, you have a pretty fancy schmancy day coming up. What are you doing?
I'm gonna be on CBS Mornings with Gail King talking about childcare and childcare costs and a lot of what we've just talked about, just what parents are feeling and what they're going through. So that'll be exciting. It's gonna be live in studio, which is cool because I've been doing. Never mind, I was gonna get out a very tiny violin to play. It's like I've been doing all my TV segments from home, no hair and makeup.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really
You
hard
should
life,
you should
Ben.
be ashamed of yourself.
It's a really
Uh,
hard life when I have to do my own makeup like I did for
uh,
today.
so I have a so here's my big I would say that I'm your best friend, right? You would say that I'm your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for
Great.
sure. So, I'm afraid that on Thursday, because you have an electric personality and you charm everyone that you meet, and I'm really concerned that on Thursday you're gonna become best friends with Gail King. And I think that that's gonna be terrible for me because, like, I'm not gonna have my best friend anymore, and then that's also gonna be terrible for
Ah,
Oprah because Oprah's not gonna have her best friend anymore because Gail's not gonna have any time for
well,
her once you
listen,
guys are together.
Ben,
So
Tom from MySpace made it very clear that, you can have top 8 friends. Isn't it 8?
okay. So this is the so it's you, me, Gail King, Oprah,
Tom from MySpace.
Tom from MySpace because he comes
Mhm.
with all friends. He's everyone's friend.
Yep.
This is wonderful. I'm excited for it. I know that it's like the coolest of the TV appearances that you've gotten to do so far in this, and
Yay.
it's very well deserved.
Thank you.
And I'm genuinely very excited about it. And I have my DVR set, and by DVR I mean YouTube TV because that's what year is it?
Same. That's what I do.
Uh, but that's so cool, and just a little bit of a preview. Childcare right now is crazy.
Gosh, yeah. Well, so what's nutty about it, and this is good, I can practice. Childcare costs have gone up 40% during the pandemic just because like daycares are closing and they have to pay for stuff like cleaning and they have to do all this extra COVID protocols that they have to pay for out of pocket. So their prices have gone up. And then also it's like we want to pay them more because these workers make sure that the workers are getting paid because like they're the ones putting themselves at risk. But then parents are paying more, and then also on the other side of it, you see, 2 million women have left the workforce since like February of 2020. And a huge amount of those are moms. And so then you see parents leaving the workforce, less income, higher childcare. the juggle. It's just, perfect storm of stress. Parents always
Yeah.
get stressed out.
I know, very, very closely a person, a mom who left the workforce to take care of their son full time, and it was an incredibly stressful situation.
Mhm. It's hard. It's like
It's,
the perfect or the it's a re parents are having to moms especially are having to make that really difficult decision because oftentimes childcare will cost 'cause childcare can cost as much as college, and, like, nursery school can cost just as much as college in some places, and moms are making that decision, a lot often moms, it usually falls on the moms to be like, "Oh, well, but my income that I take in could be exactly the same as or if not less than what I'm paying for childcare, so, like, what's the point?" But I think it's still really important to consider all the benefits of staying in your career and in the workforce and making sure it's a decision you wanna be doing if at all possible. Because I mean, there's also plenty of people who are just very eager that saw the pandemic as a recalibration of what their priorities were and really wanna stay home with their kids, which more power to them because I don't think I could have it in me to stay home full time with Essie. After the pandemic, I was like, "Oh, yeah. I remember why I like going into work."
No, I saw the videos. She's a handful.
Yeah, yeah.
She is wonderful and growing up
Erica.
so fast.
I know, she's 5 already, and she's
Yeah,
chatting.
that that's insane.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this was only supposed to be 5 minutes,
And it's
and
22
what
minutes and 3, 4, 5 seconds already.
yeah, once again, we can't, control this,
Okay.
conversation. Once we start talking to each other, it never stops,
Correct.
and until Thursday when you become best friends with Gail King, and then I never hear from you again. It's fine. I'm worried about it, genuinely, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
You are all invited to my yacht parties, so don't you worry about it. Can't you tell? My tiny queen's apartment. Living the high life.
yes. Uh, alright, well, is there anything that you'd like to end on, for, by the way, you are a podcaster, an interviewer to the stars, literally. How
Literally. I go up and take a little rocket ship to space and I interview stars. How are you feeling today? Bright? Extra bright? Less than bright? Champagne supernova? And
I
I
don't think
said,
it's
maybe. Gonna be Oh, that's Wonderwall. That's not even Champagne Supernova.
I know.
Don't even I can't even get my Oasis references right. Jesus.
Wow. Did you even live in London?
I mean, I don't know, but I was in 8th grade in America when Oasis was, like, the cool band to like, so don't you worry about it.
Um, you and I think, are incapable of having a fully serious conversation.
Yeah,
I think that
that's good.
that's
That's a good thing. That's why
yeah,
people
no,
liked our clubhouse rooms. Everyone's getting all
absolutely.
serious
Do
and
you think
nerdy. We're like, "Let's talk marshmallows."
so what part of your job is to be on the pulse of what's happening via social media and different apps and stuff? I know that I was gonna ask you a final question, but like, you were on Clubhouse, immediately on Clubhouse, and you were, like, hosting all of these rooms for parents and doing all of these things. Has it slowed down a lot, or is it just our friend group? Are you still on there for work a bunch? Like, is that still an app where a lot of things are happening?
Do you know, I've had the same conversation with so many people, and I literally just recorded a podcast with Dr. Sarah Bren, who I don't know if you remember her, but she sometimes joined
I
our
know Sarah, yeah,
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 oh,
yeah.
you do know, of course, of course. So I just did her podcast, and again, so she comes fr she we were just talking about how there was this, like, moment I think we were all a part of. It was a thing on Clubhouse, and it was big, and everyone got very into it and made really good connections and friends and everything, and then everybody kind of stopped using Clubhouse, and everyone's in the same boat. I barely ever go on. Uh, and everyone I talked to is the same. It was like we were on it a lot at a moment in time when it felt like we really needed it, and then we kind of made our connections and went our separate ways, but maybe we'll come back to it. I don't know. But it did
Yeah,
definitely feel like a moment at that
I
time.
think, it was we all got on it, like, the moment hit at the height of the pandemic, at the turn of the year, when hospitalizations were higher than ever and deaths were higher than ever, and
Mhm.
uh it was cold out.
It
So
was
there so
December,
there wasn't anything to
January.
do
Yeah.
outside, and but that core group of like 6 to 8 people that we made with the Marshmallow Club,
Mhm.
or the Mischief and Mayhem, the Marshmallow Club, I don't
Sure,
care.
whatever,
The Mischief
all
and
of the
Mayhem,
above.
whatever. With our fearless leader, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yep.
the like that was the highlight of my year. Those like those people, you all have been the highlight of my year. Like it's been
You're so sweet.
absolutely wonderful,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a huge highlight of my year because it was so needed, and so it was like kismet and synchronicity. Brian always talks about that. Something about how we're, like, all supposed to meet in some sort of, like, universe collision, so,
yeah.
anyway.
I I talked to someone I talked to at least one person, usually multiple people, from that Clubhouse group every single day,
Yeah,
and
same.
it's wonderful,
Mhm.
and it's a fun thing. It's an interesting thing because it's not something that like Facebook or MySpace or Instagram or TikTok or anything like that ever created for me or anyone that I know.
Not at all. Same. Same, 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 same. There's just something very intimate about Clubhouse in a way. In about our rooms, because there were also these rooms that got way too big, and then there was just, like, I lost interest in them when they were like that, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah, no.
well, now we're at 27 minutes, and this is
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do. You're gonna, if I have your permission, you're gonna be a guest on 2 of my podcasts.
Okay.
So this is gonna be the long form one, and then I'm gonna cut everything that we just said into 5 minutes somehow,
Okay.
for the 5-minute show.
Sounds good.
And that's that. So where can people find you on
Um
socials? Where can people listen to
They
the
can find me.
podcast?
They can find me. I can hear my dog scratching at my daughter's room where I've banished her for this recording.
I just
Uh,
found out you had a dog last night, and I don't know how that's possible.
I know, poor Fergie. She was the center of my world, and every now and then people are like, "Wait, you have a dog?" I'm like, "Oh no,
Do you wanna just
don't listen."
if she's scratching, just go get the
Oh,
dog,
co
and then we'll do the
yeah,
ending with the
she's good.
dog, okay?
Oh, you want me to get
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
and I'll
You're like, "I don't believe that you have a dog."
I don't believe that you have a dog. I still don't believe that you have a
Where
dog.
are the receipts? The receipts. The cover receipts.
She's screaming the receipts if you cannot hear her.
Here's the receipts.
Aw,
She's really cute. She's
she's
very cute.
adorable.
I know. She's blind and has no idea what's going on at the moment. So, oh, I know, Fergie. So you can find me and Fergie at Julia Dennison on Instagram. That's usually like the place I tend to be. A hangout. And then of course parents.com and at parents on Instagram is the brand that I work on. And yeah, TikTok. I'm scrolling TikTok all the time. So if you want to send me good TikToks, I'm always here for it.
I think you have to follow me on TikTok because it's way easier to just send you TikToks on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. I have to
Follow
be better
me,
about I
Julia.
follow like nobody on here's the thing. I'm weird on
Oh,
TikTok. I like follow like nobody because I just go on my For You page, but I have to be better about following.
you gotta. You absolutely have to.
I know.
I had a brilliant thought today about how
Mhm.
there should be 13 months in the year instead of 12.
Oh, yeah.
And
I like that idea because then we can subtract and our ages would be different, it feels like.
I didn't think about that.
We go back in time. We'd go back
I
in time.
I just thought that 4 weeks a month, 52 weeks a year is 13.
Oh.
And there's 365 days. There's 364 days in 13 months of 28 days.
Hmm.
So, New Year's Day is unincorporated territory. It
Mhm.
is the DC of it's the Washington
It's the
DC
DC
of yeah.
of the calendar
So
year.
so whatever the 13th month is, that's that. And then you have New Year's Day. And New Year's is not in any month. And then every 4 years you have New Year's followed immediately by leap day. and then it's
So
a 2-day celebration.
so then is, like, New Year's Eve kinda like the purge, like, you're allowed to do whatever you want?
Yes,
Okay. Got it. That
that's
sounds
yes.
that's healthy and completely safe.
I think it's good, and I thought about it for 5 minutes, so you can trust me.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah, I think
I
yeah,
trust you in everything then, obviously.
I think that makes sense. Someone commented and said months are because that's the, cycle of the moon, and I'm like, the moon doesn't go around the Earth only 28 days in February. It's an average of 29.3 days. This is crap. This is not an excuse. Come on,
Yeah.
make 13 months.
There we go.
Make 13. I don't know why this is my hill to die on. It's not.
I
I
think
don't care.
die on
I've
that
never
don't die. Never die, Ben. Never die.
I'll try never to. Yeah.
Please, thank you. I'm gonna
But
hold
if
you
I
to
do, it'll be fighting for 13 months.
that. On that hill.
Yes. I'll be on the hill with a flag that says 13 months. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing anymore. This should have been over 26 minutes ago. Thank you so much, Julia.
Ben,
Um,
of course.
I've
Happy to
ruined
be
your
here.
reputation again by having you on my show.
Please, are you kidding? I am honored. This is my favorite thing. So I'm
Thank
always
you so
happy to have
much.
you.
I
Of
will
course.
call LeVar Burton and Gail King and Tan France and let them know that this is your favorite thing and that they all are terrible.
Everybody's on my list of 8 top friends, including Tom from MySpace, so it's fine. Everyone gets to
Bye,
be on that list.
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julia.